31st of May, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi, Behaalosecha.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. We hear you, don't see you. Here you are.
You just called me?
I just called you. When I saw you coming in, I
Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. Hello?
Yes,
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Can
Yes.
you see?
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Sorry again about yesterday. I suddenly realized
Huge crowd, I understand.
no huge crowd, and it was a major. Unfortunately, I've learned from experience that when it comes to these things, you got to try and get the transport as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're finished. You're not going to get there.
Right.
So I took and also I've learned from last time by Chaim Kanievsky's Levaya that the train was a very good form of transport. Because when you go by bus or anything like that, you get stuck in traffic and there's nothing you can do about it. Whereas the train gets you there.
Right.
Okay.
My wife was asking me, who would you say now is the Gadol Hador?
Do you know that? I was asking myself that same question yesterday. It's a major question. I could mention you some names. First of all, I'm not the one to decide, and some of them much less known. And certainly Chaim Kanievsky was known, and certainly as Rabbi Gershon Edelstein, Zechariah Revacha, were known. There's Rav Moshe Hillel Hirsch, who's actually American born. He's a Rosh Hashiva Slobodka. He is actually a very interesting he's not technically he's not from a rabbinical family, but he became Rosh Hashiva Slobodka. I'm not sure exactly how, but he's an American boy. He came to learn in Eretz Yisrael and made I don't like using the word made his way up because that's not the way the Dalim are made, right? And there's also Rav Dov Lando, who is he's actually also in the Slobodka. They're both in the Rosh Yeshiva in Slobodka, which is interestingly enough, it's a famous yeshiva, but nowadays it doesn't really. The yeshiva itself doesn't. It's not considered necessarily one of the top yeshivas. It's a very good yeshiva. It's not considered one of the top yeshivas like Ponevezh or Hebron or Meir. But anyway, I call upon him. Those who are, shall we say, I can't really tell you who's the one who's going to decide. I don't know. Okay.
How would you say Gedolim are made if they don't work their way up?
Yeah, so what I mean is, it's not like the same way a guy is in a company and he starts off with the rank and file and then he becomes the thing, right? It's not the same, and it doesn't really come through being, what position he held. As Gershon Edelstein's Chalifa didn't become Gadol Hador by the virtue of the fact that he was Rosh Hashiva Ponevezh.
Right.
Even though the Maisa, it was a prestigious, Rav Shach was also Rosh Hashiva Ponevezh. But it's difficult. I really have to give it a bit of thought and give you maybe a more clear definition of what determines who's the Gadol Hador. Certainly, it's like it's not always unanimous, but certainly kind of that a major part of Klal Yisrael, this not really decides even, it's like a given rather than an absolute handed down decision by any particular group of rabbonim or anything like that. That's why it's something which is not a clear definition to it. Okay, let me give it a bit of thought. It'd be good for myself as well, because I want to tell you something, though, very interestingly enough. This concept of the Gadol Hador has not been around. This concept of like one single leader of the generation. There's a term used in Gemara language called Rabbon Shel Kol Bnei Hagoyla, which means he's the head, he's the Rav of all the people in exile. That actually a term was used in Bavel, when after the Churban Habayis, but particularly after Churban Bayis Sheni, where was almost nil, the yishuv of the Jews in Eretz Yisrael had dwindled almost to almost nothing. I say almost nothing because there was always a certain number of Yidden dwelling in Eretz Yisrael, even from the time of Churban Bayis Sheni. But the main body of Klal Yisrael moved to Bavel, then particularly then after Bayis Sheni, and the head was called Reish Galusa, but that Reish Galusa wasn't really; he was more of a political head. The Rabbon, the one who was the spiritual head of the Jewish people, was called Rabbon Shel Kol Bnei Hagoyla, Rash Kebahag. So only something, but such a concept of one Rav being in that position, like universally recognized to be the head, be the Gadol Hador, is, how should I say it? It's a relatively new concept, meaning it's only really something like, I would say, meaning something of the past 150 years. Anyway, okay, let's continue. We were up to Pasuk where were we up to?
I think we just read 10, but we didn't do the Rashi on it.
Right, so there's no Rashi actually on 10. So Pasuk 11.
Yeah, you're right. We read
Right.
10, and then we said
Yeah.
there's Rashi, and then we ran out of time.
Okay, so Rashi said, that's the Pasuk thing. I think it was your turn, Lou, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Pasuk Yud Aleph.
Vahanif what? Vahanif Aharon es.
It's a seirei under the hay. Vahanif.
Vahanif Aharon es Haleviim Tenufa Lifnei Hashem Me Es Bnei Yisrael Vahayu La'avod Es Avodas Hashem. Okay, so Aharon shall wave the Levites a waving before Hashem from the children of Israel, and they shall be they shall perform,
they shall be to serve,
they shall
to serve
the service of Hashem. So Rashi says, Aaron shall wave the Levites as a wave service. B'derech she'asham mitzorah. In the same way that the guilt offering of the mitzorah ta'un tenufa requires waving chai while it's alive.
Right.
So
most korbanos, when they required tnufa, it was after shchita.
right. So with the guilt offering of the mitzorah,
Mitzorah was the exception. They're required to be waved even when it was alive, before the actual shchita of the korban.
and what
Again, this is Rashi's continuing on this theme of Rabbi Moshe Adarshan, which he mentioned before. In Pasuk Zayin, it says that the Levim had to be shaved. They have to be shaved with a razor. So Rashi says that's reminiscent of the shaving of the Metzorah. And Rashi made the cheshbon that the Levim came as a kapara for Avodah Zorah of the Bechorim, of the firstborns, and part of the purification of the Metzorah, and the Metzorah is, for the Avodah Zorah, which was served by the firstborns, and Avodah Zorah is like serving to the dead, Zivchei Mesim, and a Metzorah is considered like he's dead. So therefore, the Levites had to bring korbanos and perform a service like the purification of a Metzorah. So Rashi's following on with that theme that they needed to be waved whilst alive, just like the korban of the Metzorah also has to be waved while alive. Okay? Now, Rashi continues. Sholosh Tnufos. Are you with me?
3 wavings. Ne'emru, as has been.
Well, are said.
Where are said. Bifar Rasha Zu, the Parsha Zu, in this passage, Harishona Livnei Kahas. The first was for the sons of Kahas. Lechach Ne'emar Bam. This is,
and therefore,
how it is said of them.
Therefore, it says that.
Therefore,
it is said, Bam, about them.
It is said about them. V'hayu la'avod es avodas Hashem, and they shall perform the service of Hashem. The fee avodas kodem
Kodesh Kadoshim
kadashim alehem, for the work of the Holy of Holies is upon them. Ha'aron v'hashulchan v'gomer, the ark and the table, etc. Hashniah livnei Gershon. The second is for the sons of Gershon. L'chach ne'amar bam. Therefore, it is said about them, Tenufa Lashem, a wave
That's in
service
Pasuk
for
13.
Hashem. Pardon?
That's in Pasuk 13.
Pasuk 13. Okay, we're not that up to there yet. So he's
13. Yeah, Pasuk 13. Ve'inafto isam tenufa Hashem. Okay.
Let's see.
Ta'af.
I lost my place.
Sha'af aleihem hoisha avodas hakodesh.
Sha'af aleihem, for also upon them, Haisa avodas hakodesh. There was the service of holiness, or the holy, the service, the service of the holy. Rios ukirasim, the panels and the hooks.
Sorry, Urios? How did you translate that?
Vihiros is panels.
Panel, oh. That means drapes or whatever, yeah.
That's right. They translate
Crossing.
and you say drapes. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you're consistent. Hanirim beves kodesh hakadashim, which were visible inside the Holy of Holies. Bahashalishis livnei mirari, and the third is the service of Merari.
Means the third waving, which is mentioned in Pasuk 15, which is nafta is some tenufa. It doesn't say tenufa Hashem, and it doesn't say vayul avodas Hashem. Just says nafta is some tenufa. That's referring to the Bnei Merari, who had the most, how should we say, the least holy service. Okay?
Right.
Fine. Let's continue. Actually, there's no Rashi on here till Pasuk 16. Mayor, would you like to read, please, from Pasuk Yud Beis?
Okay. Let's see that. Okay. It says Behaalosecha Yismechu et idehem al rosh haparim v'asei et ha'echad chatat v'et ha'echad olah laHashem lechaper al haleviim. Okay, so let's see. The Levites will lean their hands on the head of the bulls, and they will make one sin chatat, one sin offering, and one.
They will make the one bull as a sin offering, and this other bull
for the olah.
As a burnt offering, LaHashem for Hashem.
Gives atonement for the Levites.
Right.
Okay, Yud Gimel. V'ha'amadeta et haLeviim lifnei Aaron v'lifnei vanav ve'nafta otam tenufa laHashem. Okay, so v'ha'amadeta, and you will stand.
You should have, basically means it's a causative. You make have the Leviim stand.
Okay, before
Aaron and before his sons.
Oh, and before his sons, and wave them as a wave offering, I guess, to Hashem.
Right. Now, note who did this. Who did this waving? Who was supposed to do this waving?
Good question. Didn't we just see that before? The B'nai.
No, but it says the hey nafta something. You.
Oh, you.
It's Moshe, right?
Oh.
Okay. Go back to Pasuk Yud Aleph. It says, "Ve'nif Aaron es alavim tinufa lifnei Hashem."
Right.
The one waving, the first waving, which Rashi said was pertinent to the Bnei Kahos, first Bnei Kahos, that was done by Aaron. The second waving, okay, was done by Moshe. Third waving in Pasuk 15, again was done by Moshe. What's going on? Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The Malbim definitely discusses it, but it doesn't. I'm not sure whether it fits in with Rashi, because Rashi seems to learn that as Rashi's mentioned, Rashi mentioned just before, that the 3 times it's mentioned waving over here were actually 3 separate wavings. One, the waving of the Bnei Kahos, one Bnei Gershon, and one Bnei Merari. And therefore comes out, according to Pshutoi Shomikra, Aaron did the waving of the Bnei Kahos, Moshe and Moshe did the waving of the Bnei Gershon and Bnei Merari. That's what it sounds like. Why was that so? I don't know yet. Requires investigation. Okay.
Okay, so Yudalid, v'hivdalta et haleviim mitoch b'nei Yisrael v'hayu li haleviim. And you will separate the Levites, let's see, from within children of Israel, and they will be to me. Oh, and the Levites will be to
shall
me.
be mine.
Will be mine. Okay.
Okay. No Rashi on that.
Right.
Let's go down a couple of psukim here.
Okay. Tetvav.
15 now.
Okay. Yacharei Chain. Yavo haleviim la'avod et ohel moed v'tiharta otam ve'nafta otam tenufa. Okay, so afterwards the Levim will come to the tent of meeting, and v'tiharta, you'll purify, right, them, and you will wave them as a, I guess, the wave offering.
As a wave offering, yeah. Have we come across this Tara yet? Yeah, we had it here in Pasuk Zayin. The purification process that was done through the ashes, the water, mechatos, the purification water, the cleansing water, which was made from the water together with the ashes of the paraduma.
Okay, very good.
Okay, we've got next Rashi. There's no Rashi in this pasuk. No, I've got one more pasuk here. Next Rashi, this pasuk.
So let's see.
Zayin, 16.
That sign. Ki nitunin hema li mitoch b'nei Yisrael tachat pitrat bol rechem bechor bol b'nei Yisrael lakachti otam li. Okay, so because Nitunin is given?
Yeah. Nisunim hemali. Because the Levites, I mean, this is a continuation of the passage. They have been given, I'm just translating it literally.
Okay.
They have been given to me. But the word Nisunim is like a double expression.
Oh.
Okay, Rashi's going to dwell on that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they were given, to me from within the children of Israel, tachat, in place of Pitrat Korechem, that's Bechor, that's the firstborn. the womb. Okay. Of let's see, call mibnei Yisrael, what the firstborn of every one, okay, of the children of Israel, I have taken them for myself.
Yeah.
I think we read that in the morning after we put our tefillin on, something like that. Okay, not this exact pasuk, but we talk about the rechem and stuff.
No, you know what? I know what you think of. We say a similar thing. Kaddish li kol b'chol, petek orach b'nei Yisrael, v'adam az v'hema lihu.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I say those two paragraphs after I put my tefillin.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It says Kaddish li kol b'chol, petek orach b'nei Yisrael. Lihu. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see the Rashi over here.
Okay, so the Rashi is on nitunin, given. So it says nitunin lamasa. Okay, so one is given to carry. Nitunin lashir. Oh, and one is given to sing.
Right.
So
Rashi's
those
pointing
are
out
the
over
jobs
here.
of the Levim, right?
Rashi's pointing out that
Okay.
Rashi's explaining the double expression. So basically, Rashi's explaining that the Levim are given over for two types of work. One being the job of carrying all the utensils and the parts of the Mishkan when they were on their travels. And also given over to the second job was Lashir, to sing. There was the there was the Levite orchestra and the Levite choir, who were the ones they did the service. They gave musical accompaniment of the korbanos. Where Rashi gets it from, these were the two types of avodah, maso and shir. For that, we go back to Parshas Nosoi. Remember, beginning of Parshas Nosoi. Where was it? Here. It says avodas masa. Yeah, I refer you back to chapter Dalet, chapter 4, Pasuk Mem Zayin, 47.
Oh. Okay, 447.
It says that there were counted those of the Levim between 30 and 50. מבין 30 שנה ומעלה ועד בין 50 שנה, כל הבא לעבוד עבודת עבודה ועבודת מסה לא יומת. All those who came to serve the service of the shall we say avodas avoda, the service of the service, and the service of carrying in the tent of meeting. And there Rashi pointed out avodas avoda. What does avodas avoda mean? Who has shir? That is the singing, the mitzaltayim, with cymbals, kinoris, and with string instruments, violins, harps, I don't know, whatever. Shehi avoda l'avodas acheres. This is a service which is not a service in its own right, but it's a service as a auxiliary service to another service, i.e., the offering of the korbanos. That the main service was the offering of the korbanos, and the music, the singing, the Levites' the vocal singing, and the musical accompaniment, that was an accompaniment, an auxiliary service to the main service of offering the korbanos. So Rashi says that's avodas avoda. So here too, Rashi explained the double lashon, the sunim. That's what's mentioned over here in this pasuk Mem Zayin. Avodas avodah, which was the singing, and avodas masa, which Rashi says is kamashmol, as is stated, means that's like the literal meaning, means the work, the service of carrying all the utensils of the Mishkan. Okay?
Okay, so we have one more quick Rashi here. It says Pitrat, which is the first issue. Petichat, that which opens.
Right. So Rashi said that the Lashon Petor, Pitras Korach means that which opens the womb. By the way, it's interesting, the Maisa, as far as Pidyon Haben is concerned, the firstborn son is determined by the one, it's the first child to its mother. Meaning a man has two wives. Okay?
Right.
Then the firstborn, each of them gives birth to a son, and he's the firstborn, then each time he'll be Chai Pidyon Haben.
Oh.
In other words, it's not the person. I mean, nowadays it's not really common, but it could be if a person has a second marriage. The first, in other words, it's the firstborn to the mother, even if he's not necessarily the firstborn to the father. He is the one who gets Pidyon Haben.
But it also has to be a vaginal birth, right? Not cesarean.
Sorry?
It has to be a vaginal birth, not a cesarean birth.
Yeah, right, correct.
So,
Okay. Fine. Do we have time for one more pasuk? How many minutes are we up
Less than
to?
a minute.
Oh, so we'll stop here then.
Okay, very good. Be
Have a
well.
great day, everybody. Be well.
You too.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you, Rabbi.
Yael.
Thank you.
Okay, take care, Lou.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.